pensive.
Gonna lighten it up a little bit more in here.
Please. Lighten the mood, will you?
First, I'm going to actually add light. What's that? Is that obnoxious if you're sitting there?
No.
Not too bad. I didn't want to blow out the lights, so we can actually add a real light in. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all.
Yes, I know the music's a little loud. We'll turn it down once we start.
We're not started yet.
Good morning. Ooh.
Bum 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 bum. This is what's going on in my head at all times.
This little chunk,
not this chunk, but this type of music.
horn thing.
Oh, it's because French horn is most beautiful in all instruments.
Hey man, A minor, it's really the saddest of all keys.
Everyone, it's good to see you all. I don't have my computer today. I should, but I don't. So.
Where's your computer?
What's that?
Where is it?
I think it's at the church. Bum 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 bum.
How come you being able to look up obscure facts?
I got my phone right here. 20 people. We're almost there.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. Moon is bum, 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 bum.
The dash cam is set up. Camera. Yeah.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 The song is over.
Yeah, we can get started here in just a second. We have to send out this text here.
Oh, there we are. This one always makes me feel like I'm boating for some reason.
Yeah,
doesn't
I
it?
can see that.
You can see the waves of the ocean crashing upon the hull of the ship. There I stand. I have some boating shorts on. Nice hat to block the sun from my eyes. It was a time of great aspiration, but also a time of great desperation. Would that I had known what word was to come, what shall be even now. joviality and of youth covers the shadows that are to come.
All right. Well, that was lovely.
I meant nothing. So.
Spontaneous poetry from Father Ashmore. Well, let's just get started, shall we?
Thank you all so
All
much
right.
for joining.
Well, welcome everybody to the Fireside Chat for Monday, April 20th. Happy 80th day of quarantine or whatever we're on. Glad to have you here with us. So,
Yes, and Gene, you're right. We should watch out touching our faces more. You're absolutely right. I'm a very bad example of that. I almost just went to do it right now. You see, I'm an addict.
Yeah. Who said that?
That was on the YouTube.
Oh, I see.
My sister, who's a nurse, and I were talking, and she herself criticized me for my face touching habit. So I will be trying from now on to touch my face less, but we'll see. I realize that I never knew before this quarantine that I had an utter and complete face touching addiction.
Well, most of us do.
Right.
I think a lot of us have realized that. So welcome. I have made a totally unnecessary fire today, but I had a log that I wanted to burn down a little bit more, and it's kind of rainy today, so I thought, before we close it up again, I'll just get one more burn in here, and because I think it's going to get warmer this week. That's what the weather people said. So
whether it's true or not.
So welcome everyone. Bring your questions or ideas or comments. Go ahead and put those in the chats. We'll be monitoring those on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome
as always
to the chat, and we're just happy to have you here. We're happy to be here on a Monday morning. Today, what are we drinking? We are drinking.
I don't know. What are we drinking?
I will tell you. I'll go to the camera to show off the coffee of the day. So today's coffee is, we've got the Daybreak. No, I got the Caribou Blend. Sorry, the Caribou Blend from Caribou Coffee. One of my favorite spots. I really have always liked Caribou Coffee, and so it was whole bean. So we ground it up today because why not? It's a Monday. So
there we go.
I had a little bit of extra time, so I did that today. So that's there. And let me give a little shout out. It's while I'm on my old camera, before I forget. Let me say hello to my nieces. Hello, Rachel. Hello, Rosalie. Hello, Laura. And I think I saw you on your bicycles yesterday, and I saw particularly, Rachel, you were bicycling great. I was amazed. It was awesome. So good job.
Nice
I guess it was a tricycle. That's true. Yes. So if you want to, I guess you might want to get the term right, I guess. But good job yesterday. I was really impressed. So. All right, I'm gonna go back to the other camera.
So Father Kenneth, I learned something yesterday.
You did. What did you? I'm so proud of you. Good job. What did you learn?
So have you ever thought about the fact that the name for September means 7, the name for October means 8, the name for November means 9, and the name for December means 10?
I am not sure if I ever thought about that, but yes,
Isn't that odd?
It is because
December
is not the 10th month.
Did you know? This is fascinating.
Do tell.
Yeah. So if you look at it, you would think that you can look at it all. I mean, September should not be named September. September should be named November.
Yes.
And October should be named December.
Yes.
And then we should have like a undecimember or something like that, or 11, because you say undecimo, I think is it in Latin, undecimus.
December.
And then December, something like that. But here's the reason why the months are named that way. March is named after the god Mars.
Yes.
And it used to be the first month of the year.
Ah.
And so it used to be Mars through December, and those were the 10 months of the year. And then back in sometime in Rome, they added 2 extra months, January, February, and then Mars, and then they kept the names for the other ones. Isn't that fascinating?
It is very fascinating.
And that's why Mars is Mars, because it was the first month of the year, and it was the whole year was named after the god Mars.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating.
You are though that's great trivia there.
So if you guys ever need a little bit of trivia,
right,
the months. You can
so September like the Septuagint, or October like the octagon, and November that works well in like a novena, 90 days, and
exactly.
December as the dodecahedron. That's not 10-sided, is it?
10, a decagon.
Decagon.
Decagon, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
That is fascinating. I love it.
Fascinating.
So there's your little tidbit for the day. So when you are on Jeopardy, you will be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So what other questions you have or comments, please keep them coming. Let me just backtrack and see what we've got here. Hey, thanks. I'm glad that you enjoyed the little song. So I just performed a song, Divine Mercy song that I wrote years ago. That appears on my Jesus album if you want to look it up. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, wherever you want to find songs. It's free. Let's see here. Good morning, good morning. Molly, so glad that you loved the Bible study. Well, you were in your jammies. No one can know, but, well, now people do. So, very good.
The secret.
So I will be doing, I have my other Bible downstairs where I was doing the Bible study. This is one that's not falling apart. So here is the Bible. We're going to be talking about the Acts of the Apostles this coming Saturday. So we're going to take a little bit of break from Paul's writings. Mm-hmm. And then, for some reason, I decided to do Galatians before 1 Corinthians, even though 1 Corinthians comes before Galatians in the Bible. But I guess I didn't want to talk about 2 Corinthians at this point, because those are probably the three key letters of Paul: Romans, Galatians, 1 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians, much less so. It's, sequels. They sometimes aren't as good as the original,
There's some good stuff in this.
There is, but it's usually not hailed as one of the great works of Paul. If you're going to rank,
true. It's a little piecemeal at times.
It is. I think that they said that 2 Corinthians, when I was doing my studies, it's kind of a conglomerate of a whole bunch. Maybe several of those things are, but that it wasn't necessarily one letter. That's what a lot of the not everyone, but a lot of the biblical scholars say, that I think it was several letters put together, and it's not as clearly organized as, say, Romans or Galatians or 1 Corinthians. So,
right.
So Acts of the Apostles we'll talk about this Saturday. Now, I've given the class on Romans before, so I don't think I've ever given a class on Acts of the Apostles, and if I have, I've lost my notes, so I've got to do a lot more research here to get ready for this week, but I think I've got time this week to make that happen. So, nice cloudy morning. Yes, that's why I put the fire on, because it seemed like it was appropriate.
So I love cloudy days.
I like one or two of them, and then I get depressed.
Oh, yeah. No, it lets me just sink into the depth of my soul. It's very nice.
And into your sweater.
Into my sweaters, yes. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in my high school years, and there we had a lot more cloudy days and a lot more rainy days. And so whenever I see a day like this, it always reminds me of home.
I see. Very good. Well, I'm glad that you can. I'm glad for that. Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Nice to be joining you again. Thank you. Yes, we had a nice celebration of Divine Mercy Sunday. Thanks, everyone who made that happen. So we had the adoration, and we had the praying of the chaplet. We prayed it both in Spanish and in English. I'm going to share a picture. I recognize that there are some serious problems sometimes with incense. People have asthma or whatever, and it can really bother them. But I was the only one in the church yesterday, so I could incense to my heart's delight, I guess, because I was the only one, and I was the only one at the piano. So if anyone's going to be coughing or whatever, but I took a picture because I'm not sure if you can see in the picture here, but the incense was just floating so beautifully.
It's pretty
it was
cool.
Just so I tried to take a picture of it, but it was just the way it was wafting in the air.
I've never seen that much incense in our church before, and our church is really designed perfectly to capture the incense and to see how it hangs over, because a lot of times incense goes straight to the top and you can't see it because of the way the architecture is,
right.
The paintings up there and whatnot. But this one, the way it's designed, the incense just hangs right over your head. It's very cool.
It's really beautiful. Now, I recognize that there are some serious health problems with incense. That's why we generally don't use it, but I thought I'm the only one in church. We have our Lord out, so I thought I'd use some incense. So
I'm not apologetic about using incense. So.
I'm very apologetic about using incense. So anyway,
you only live once.
Well, yes, we want to live for a while, most of us.
I'm like St. Paul. Take me now, Lord.
Well, that's great there, Father Ash. So there's that. And then yesterday you had your VIA, right?
Yep, we had another VIA. It went really well. We're using the series videos right now called Presence. It's offered through the Augustine Institute, and it's on Formed.
Okay.
I was really impressed with it, really. We got through about half the video. I kind of stop it halfway through and give a little explanations. The students seem to really enjoy it. They have great cinematography in it, great explanation of sacraments. And
Awesome.
if you're looking for something to watch, I'd really suggest it. It's called Presence from Formed. Afterwards, I tried to play a form of categories with them. I think, yes, categories, and it did not work. So we tried another game after that and had some fun there. So
Okay.
we
cool.
have a group of about 20 students who are getting together on Sunday afternoons, which is very neat.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great.
So,
I want to invite also, I'm very excited about what's happening tonight. So I was looking at my phone. I wasn't just like watching YouTube videos, other YouTube videos, but I'm very excited. So I was making reference to this in the homily yesterday that I see that, and maybe I mentioned this in a fireside chat last week. I can't ever remember what all I say and where I say it, but talking about kind of moving into a phase 2 of our
yeah,
quarantine.
we talked about that on Friday.
Okay. And this idea of moving into Easter. And I think one of the elements that we want to do more of in phase 2 of our quarantine is getting more faces, getting more people connected with each other. We're trying to do all that we can. I mean, if we're honest, at least I can speak for myself. I'm not doing all that I can because I never live up to the potential that God is calling me to. I can always do more, but I think we're doing as much as is reasonable. I think at this point in time, but could I do more? Sure. Could we all do more? Sure. But anyway, we're doing I think what is reasonable for us at this time. But it's not just about us. We want to We want to get the community going. So I'm very excited about what Mary Mueller is doing tonight. 7 o'clock. It's Monday Musings with Mary Mueller. And she's got so many talents, Mary does. But one of her great talents, I think, is to encourage faith sharing. She's really good. I'm not very good at coming up with like discussion questions and topics to talk about. That is one of Mary's real gifts, I think, is that she can really help facilitate a conversation. And so that's what's going to happen tonight. So I'd invite you to join in Monday Musings. Monday Musings with Mary Mueller. I've got a whole bunch of information here. I don't know how to transfer this from my phone over there to the chat. But Mary, if you're watching, could you post all this stuff that you put in here? It's got the Zoom link. So everybody zoom in. It'll be a Zoom link, and there's a meeting ID, and you'll put in a password for that. So, but hopefully that went out on a flock note. I know it went on a flock note, but maybe Mary can provide some more information there. So
and I want to follow up on something that you said. Can we do more? I think it's important not to get too much Catholic guilt there. So,
sure. Yes, I'm good at Catholic guilt.
Exactly. And I'm not. I mean, I just have good old guilt. So I don't think it's good for us as a parish to try to do everything for you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree totally.
I think it's important for us to play a key role and to try to make connections with you all and everything like that. But in a certain way, if we're trying to do everything for you during this time, then we're not empowering you. And so our goal during this time is to empower you, I think.
Yeah.
And so there's only so much if we did more in front of the camera, I don't think it would be effective.
Sure.
I think we're doing the perfect amount because we're giving you more, we're giving you an opportunity, and then we're encouraging you also to do it on your own.
Sure. No, I agree totally with that.
So I just want to, I'm
sure.
And obviously I'm being facetious when I say that. So.
Yeah. My sense is that, like, if I don't want to say I'm doing all that I can, because that seems a little boastful or whatever, and maybe not entirely honest. Am I really praying as much as I could be? Am I really doing all that I could be? Am I really making all the calls that I should be doing? No. I mean, that's why we do an examination of conscience every night, right? Is what have I done? What did I do well today? What did I not do well today? What did I fail at today?
Yeah.
And how can I do better tomorrow? I mean, that's why we should look at our hearts every day. So if I come here on camera saying I'm doing all that I can, that seems a little disingenuous at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was kind of going for is. I could do more, yes, but I am not as good as I could be always, and I want to be better today than I was yesterday, and better tomorrow than I was today. So.
Right. I only get on this topic, and I kind of, as I said, I tease Father Ken about that in this case. But I think we, especially in the United States, we suffer from a productivity culture. We have the emphasis on doing rather than being, and that. Pardon me. Let's see. Emergency line.
Yeah, it's coming for both of us. It stopped the music.
Give me 1 second. This is the emergency line, so I'll just give you a call. I'll follow up. Pardon me.
So to continue on with Father Ashmore's thought, I think that we do emphasize too much. I think about the about what are we doing, and not enough about how are we being, and how are we living. So yes, I think that's a very important thing for us to remember and to consider, that it's not about what we do, it's more about who we are.
Right. And so one aspect of that is that we can get this idea we can judge ourselves constantly. Like, how much did I make today? How much did I do today? I remember I get to the end of the day and I think sometimes like, oh, was that day productive? Did I really accomplish anything? And a lot of us think that's a normal thought, but I don't think it's actually a healthy thought.
Sure.
To think that the result of my life needs to be a product is not only not healthy, but I think it's damaging. Because we end up seeing our life in a quantitative way rather than a qualitative way. Am I loving? That's the most important thing. At the end of our life, I may not have a house at the end of my life. I may not have a car. I may not even have a lot of children. But if somebody can say about me that I was a man who loved, then that was successful.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes this first came to me when I spent some time in a couple other countries, and I noticed that people took time more frequently than the United States to just be with each other. For instance, I spent about 6-7 weeks in Spain at one point, and halfway through the day, at about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, everyone would stop everything and go and have the comida together. That's how they generally refer to lunch as comida over there, just food.
Food time.
Exactly, food time.
Most good food.
It was the biggest meal. Everybody went home for it, and they spent an hour and a half, 2 hours eating together, talking, sharing, just enjoying each other's company. Then they went and had a siesta, because after you have that much food, you gotta have time to nap. And they went back to the shops at like 5-6 o'clock-ish. And
I
then
like
they
that
would go into
schedule.
work. It's a really good schedule. I found myself feeling so well balanced during that time, and it really made me realize for the first time that maybe the American style of go 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 is not healthy. It's not healthy for us spiritually or physically.
Right.
Because I literally during that time I felt healthier overall. I wasn't so stressed constantly. I felt I was getting a lot of work done. But putting that emphasis on being there allowed me to be allowed me to be better.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that this quarantine time will be that for people. The other analogy that I'm using is like rehab, for busyness.
Oh,
or
again,
for,
I'm sorry.
Is that the emergency line again?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, but I think that it takes us a moment to get out of that busyness and to pull away from that. And it takes some time to adjust to a different schedule. I find that to be the case, like I mentioned before, on like a retreat. When you first enter into the retreat, it can be really hard to get off of that running that we get caught up sometimes in, to take that time to pause, and it takes a while to get into that structure. So I think that for our society, this time does, if we are going to break ourselves from the busyness and our slavishness attitude to, I gotta go, 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 I think we do need some time, and this can be seen as a time of grace if we use it well. Time to struggle too, but I'm always a positive, optimistic thinker usually, but that's something that could be very good for us. So, yes, Father Ashmore has left us on an important business call. Speaking of food, what's for dinner tonight at your home? Anyone doing carry-out? Hey, yeah, that's a good question, Debbie. You're asking, I believe, the wider community of what is everybody doing for food, and how are you sustaining yourself in this time? Great question, and a great chance again for the community to build with one another. What are you doing for dinner? We got a great surprise yesterday. I guess I will talk about this while Father Ashmore is gone, although I'm sure he would want to talk about this as well. But we got a visit yesterday from the Easter Bunny, sorta. So when we woke up yesterday, we had a whole bunch of eggs there in our lawn. And we got visited by I call it the Easter Octave Bunny. Actually, it was some parishioners who came by and egged us yesterday with all these beautiful plastic eggs. I'll show you another picture. Here is a picture now of the haul that we got here. Yes, you can see there's also a bottle of wine there that is burst out of all these eggs. There are so many eggs. There might still be some hiding out there. It was just it was a great surprise. And what was in these eggs, some of them had candy in them, but most of them had little notes in there, and they're just really sweet. So I want to say thanks to those that did that for us. It's one of the nicest things I think that's ever happened to me. It was really, really sweet. It was really nice. Father Ashmore and I opened up all these little plastic eggs yesterday, and just really nice notes thanking us for what we are doing. So there's an example of a random act of kindness. If you got some extra time in this time, go out and do these random things for people that you care about. I really felt cared for and loved, and it was really quite sweet. Speaking of sweet, but my stream is going weird. Hold on. Something says we got a green. Sorry that too many things open. Let me see if I can close out a couple things here. I had to open up to take. We're having some.
How strange.
I know, and I have taken us on to. Now I've got a yellow, and I don't know what's going on with the streaming issues. I've got everything in at my Wirecast. So yeah, type in the enter. Not sure what is happening. Just check the internet preferences.
What do you?
For that matter. Nope. Quit App Store. You've had trouble with gravity today. Okay, I've got the green light again. I think we just had something weird must have happened. It must have got it congested somewhere. Our internet said it was fine, but now it seems to be back. So sorry about that choppiness now, and I think we are back.
One thing to keep in mind with that is that since we're using exterior products, we it's not always our issue.
Right.
So, and that may sound like I'm pushing the.
Why am I not doing more? I need to be doing so much more. It's all my fault. I'm always wrong. That's very Father Kentish. So anyway, I was talking about the beautiful gift that we got yesterday.
Oh,
about
wonderful! Yeah, very cool.
I was trying to fill time while you were gone, but I was talking about how beautiful it was and how touching it was to receive those gifts and those hand. I say that's one of the best gifts that I can get is handwritten notes that are personal, because those are things that I treasure, because someone took time to do that, and especially in this day and age, that so little we get so little mail and everything. Whenever I get something in the mail, I'm like, whoa! Someone actually went to the post office and put a stamp on it, and that extra care that usually means a lot to me. And so that extra care of those eggs, that was just really beautiful. I don't know if you have anything to add to that. I showed him some pictures. Theoretically,
what you said. So, no, it was just a nice little surprise. Very beautiful to be able to see people's appreciation. Often, especially in our position, you don't know who we're reaching, and so to see that people are that appreciative as to see something like that is very sweet.
Yeah,
very beautiful.
And what I was also saying when I noticed the internet was going bad was Debbie was asking what we're eating tonight, and I said, well, we have to check our schedule because we got several little things, promises of food as well.
This is true.
The guests brought by turkey pot pie yesterday, and it was delicious. That was Gabe made that, right?
Yeah, Gabe made that.
And then did Anna make the apple pie?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
So it was quite
Very
lovely.
cool.
So yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So and then yes, I see that some people are doing some order out. Yeah, good to support the local businesses as well. Deacon Steve brought Frontera over, I think, on Saturday, and that was yummy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
tasty.
Yep. So what other questions might you have? What other things are you working on? What's keeping you sane during these times? Yeah. Again, so if you can do those random acts of kindness for other folks, it can really be very touching. So that we felt very blessed and touched over this random act of kindness that we received yesterday. So keep that up.
Debbie asks, "What is the first restaurant we would go to when they open up?"
Okay.
I don't know. Probably Pho Good, which is right down the street.
Oh yeah, you were talking about Pho Good.
I love Pho Good. Pho Good is a Vietnamese restaurant about 3 minutes away from us, and I'm a great devotee of Pho Good. Pho is one of the main specialties of Vietnamese cuisine. It's cheap, it's tasty, the people there are great. You can just pop down there sometimes in the evening. So that's probably where I'll go, because it's just a nice, small family-owned place that I enjoy.
Yeah, it's a great place. The name cracks me up because they just resign to the fact that Anglos can't say pho. Yeah. What is this pho? It's Pho Good.
It's Pho Good. Very good.
How is it? Oh, it's Pho Good.
Pho Good.
Actually pronounced. Well, I had a roommate who was Vietnamese. I think he still is, but if pho is a big traditional dish, and he told me how to say pho like probably 20 times, and I never said it right. He said, "No, say it like this, pho." Like pho? No, it's pho. Pho? No, pho. So anyway, so I won't say it right anyway, no matter how much I try. So.
Vietnamese is a really difficult language to pronounce. I've got a Vietnamese friend. He trained me for a few phrases. One is ba qua toi, which means ba qua toi, I think, and which means you are my best friend. So occasionally I would go up to him and go, Quang, ba qua toi. He'd laugh. So.
Father Ashmore is much better at languages than I am. So, and did you say that to Tin also?
I said that to Tin at one point. Oh, Father!
he was so happy.
Oh, he was ecstatic.
So what will I do? What restaurant would I go to? I don't know. I don't I don't usually choose often to go out to a restaurant myself. I mean, I'm happy to go with other people or whatever. I don't know. I do like Paulo and Bill. Someone mentioned that earlier. But yeah, I don't know. I'm more happy to see other people and to go over to other people's houses more than I am to be at a restaurant. All the restaurants are fine. But.
Right. Mm-hmm. And when you live with the Chateau de Father Ashmore.
That's right. How can I? We got the Chateau de Father Ashmore. I've already got delicious food, so
it is very difficult to put over the top of this place. Goodness.
I told him he's great with languages. So.
Accents. I don't know what language. Oh my.
A little donut, and Don mentioned a little donut place. I've never been to that little donut place.
I bought donuts there once for Via.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a little hole-in-the-wall place.
Are there any places that I have gone to that I really like?
I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting coffee with some of the morning mass ladies once again, if we ever can do that again.
Yeah, that's right. You sit at this table, someone else sit at that table.
Hello. I am well.
Very good. Do you have anything to share with us for the Ash Cam? We haven't been to the Ash Cam yet today.
I do actually. So,
all right.
I've been reading a lot of more classical poetry to you all, particularly poetry with a meter. I'm much more a fan of metered poetry than I am of more of the free form poetry. It's partly the structure of it. I just love the structure. It allows me to get into it and follow it. So I love metered poetry more than more of a free form. But there's somebody who kind of straddles the two. It's a meter, but it's kind of like a meter. It's kind of like free form. It's not. He created it himself. It's called sprung poetry, sprung rhythm. And Gerard Manley Hopkins is the poet. He's one of the great classics of Christian poetry. If you talk to anybody about Christian poetry, this is probably the first person they're going to go to. And they might go to T.S. Eliot, but this one is right up there. I have to make a slight confession, and if some of my friends are watching, they might be a little scandalized. I have never been able to really get into Hopkins. I know it's terrible. I just love meter too much, and so the fact that his poetry is not metered, it doesn't get my heart in the same way that other ones might. But I think he's really fascinating. So his sprung rhythm is supposed to be. There's an Amber Alert. I should pray for that person.
Yes. Our phones are going crazy.
Yeah, they are today. The sprung rhythm is supposed to be like a spring. Haha, the name. And so the phrases are supposed to come in and come out as you're saying them. And he claims that all English is written according to a sprung rhythm, and it's a little debatable, but I think it's mostly true. So what you'll hear this time is more of a walking pace. When you're reading it, if you can imagine somebody jauntering along and then kind of turning towards you and coming back and turning towards and coming back, that's what you're listening for. He wrote a poem called As Kingfishers Catch Fire, and I think it's quite lovely. So we'll read this today. As kingfishers catch fire, dragonflies draw flame. As tumbled over rim and roundy wells stones ring, like each tucked string tells, each hung bell's bow swung finds tongue to fling out broad its name. Each mortal thing does one thing, and the same, deals out that being indoors each one dwells. Selves goes itself, myself it speaks and spells, crying what I do is me, for that I came. I say more, the just man justices, keeps grace, that keeps all his goings graces, acts in God's eye, what in God's eye he is, Christ. For Christ plays in 10,000 places, lovely in limbs and lovely in eyes, not his to the Father, through the features of men's faces. Oh, very beautiful. I love that idea of every creature cries out what it is. The plant cries out, I am a plant, I am a cactus, I am whatever it is. But the man in grace cries out, I am Christ, because that is what God the Father sees in us.
Awesome.
It's quite beautiful.
Lovely.
So, one interesting fact is that
We're back
we're back over here. One of the most common English translations of the poem of the Psalms translated the Psalms in the same way with sprung rhythm. So that's why I'm bringing him in today.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of poetry, English poetry, is not written this way, but the translators of the Psalms for the Grail Psalter and the Revised Grail Psalter actually loved Hopkins, and so they tried to bring his spring rhythm in. So we can look at Psalm 57 here, which is a morning prayer and affliction. And it says, "Have mercy on me, God, have mercy, for in you my soul has taken refuge. In the shadows of your wings I take refuge, till the storms of destruction pass by." Do you see how it's a similar going out and coming back in until the storms of destruction pass by? And so,
Yeah, nice.
kind of fascinating here. So if you're looking at the bravery, and you're wondering why do the Psalms sound that way, it's because they're imitating Gerard Manley Hopkins.
That's very good.
Uh-huh.
Fascinating stuff. All right, so I got a little bit. Of a call out. I need to watch out leaning on my hands. I need to be a good example of good hygiene. So I didn't know that was so much applicable in the house, but I guess if I'm on filming here, I want to be a good example. I don't want to lead people to bad behavior. So I apologize. It's probably that might be coming from Terry or coming to. I don't know if Gene or Terry is watching, but anyway, all right. I'll try to be better about that. Thank you.
My nose is itched for quite some time, and I've tried not to itch it.
Okay, very good. I've been a bad example. See, I'm not doing enough. Have I done all that I can? I have not done all that I can. I have set a bad example for everyone out in virtual land.
Yes,
so
you have. You should be ashamed.
I am ashamed. This is. I've got more things to confess tonight in my examination of conscience, that I have been a bad example for others. Okay, and I think that's about all that we have in the comments. I don't know if anyone else has anything else to share today, but we'll be back tomorrow. I think we're kind of running out of time. Again, remember, Mary Mueller has the conversation tonight, Musings with Mary Mueller. Hopefully she'll post another thing. Watch the Facebook feed today, and hopefully you can join in again to see other people's faces.
Absolutely. And before we go, there's an Amber Alert for Tecoma, Nebraska, that came to our phones, looking for a 2009 white Ford Expedition. So take a look at that Amber Alert. Just keep your eyes out if you can. You know, you're probably not out and about, but if you see anything odd, please try to do what's right in this case. Alert the authorities. Also, let's pray for the person who's involved in this right now.
Okay.
Hail Mary,
full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
All right, thank you all so much for joining us today.
Yeah, we will see you. Speaking of Hail Mary, we'll be doing the Rosary at noon, and then we'll be off for the rest of the day. But Good Shepherd will not be, because 7 o'clock tonight, Musings with Mary. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a blessed rest of the day.
God bless you all.
See you tomorrow.